folks, Rob Daniels here from the movie, TV, and video game soundtrack program Visions in Sound. It can also be found on my website, visionsinsound.ca. So here we are, week 16. Yeah, week 16. Isn't that pretty cool? Yeah, I've been doing this for 16 weeks now. Now, there have been a few other videos in here as well, so there's not necessarily just 16 videos. But one of the things that I do have to do is do a quick shout out to Eric Woods. He provided some special graphics for the opening, and well, you'll see. You'll see there's some stuff coming up. In any case, this week we're talking about video game scores, and one of the big ones from 1994, which actually did not get released until '98, but it got released anyway, I'm speaking of the video game MYST. Now, if you have not seen MYST, the video game, back in '94 when you first played it, it was an experience. It was like being immersed in a world. Great world building, great stuff. And it's one of those fantastic little games that comes along. You know, it's funny. I still have my original MYST disc from 1994. In fact, it's so old, it says that it's for Windows 3.1. So that tells you how old it is in any case. So yeah, I was particularly interested in the game. And I do remember, oh, hello. Why don't you come on up? Come on. Yeah, I know. I'm talking to the audience. It's Gimli. This is the show cat. Been on my side for 17 of the almost 25 years that I've been doing Visions in Sound. So back to MYST. MYST, yes, I'm talking about MYST this time. It was one of those games that, like I said, you were immersed in, and you definitely felt that. I you know what? It would not surprise me if there's a VR component out there eventually, or if there is, maybe I just kind of missed it. No pun intended. In any case, so yeah, MYST was one of those games that had a score, and video game scores were just kind of coming into their own at that time. Yeah, they were. They came into their own in kind of about the early to mid 90s, and so people started making requests, I guess more or less along the lines of demands, that these scores come out. And one of the great things about video game scores at that time is they're a little bit more simple. I keep thinking, and I've mentioned this. I've not mentioned this on the show, but one of the things that I used to talk about was that early video game scores were like, well, whose brother does music, or whose sister does music in their garage on a semi-regular basis? So who is a band? I keep thinking of the Bureau 13 and the video game score, the songs that are on that game disc. And if you're curious about that, I'll play some sometime. So yeah. Now, the great thing about this is the creators, both Robyn and Rand Miller, were the creators of the game MYST, and there's a whole history behind the game, the first MYST game. Now, when you listen to this, and this is the score to MYST, when you listen to this, it's very interesting. It has the feelings of those atmospheric world. It's very, like I said, it's very immersive. So when you're listening to the score, you expect yourself to be just kind of putting yourself within the world of MYST and everything that's going on and that sort of thing. It's a really cool feeling. A perfect example of this is the main theme, and here it is. So yeah, that's the main theme. Now there are other different worlds. There's like Mechanical World. There's a bunch of other different worlds within this game, and they are also represented by themes. So have a listen to. I believe this is from Mechanical World. Have a listen. So yeah, this is Robyn Miller, and he did go on to do the second game, Riven. Now he did not go on to do the other game or the other games, but his scores for the first two games laid the groundwork for MYST and other type games after that. There ended up being, I believe, 5 games under the MYST title. But there are other games. Robyn did actually return at one point to do another game, and I can't remember, unfortunately, the name of the game off the top of my head. But that's that. Now, MYST would expand into other mediums as well. There were books. I found, and this is interesting, an audiobook of MYST. And this is actually really cool because it expands on the lore. And if you have a listen to it and you've played the games, it kind of all makes sense. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. But I found it interesting. It was one of those finds that you find out. By the way, or find out in the wild. By the way, if you're truly interested in where I find a lot of this stuff, please ask. Because one of the things that I like to do is share my knowledge of finding things out in the wild. I find things in the most unusual places, and sometimes it's just right in front of your face. So there's that. So what I will do is say this, and I love this. Thank you very much, Eric, for this. Like, share, subscribe, and get out there and listen to unusual scores. I had somebody say in the comments that they were happy that I mentioned that because it's true. There are so many more scores out there that need to be heard. And it's not just John Williams. It's not just James Horner. It's not just Michael Giacchino. It's not just Hans Zimmer. There are so many others out there. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with these guys. But there are so much more out there that you definitely need to hear. So with that in mind, you can hear me on every Saturday morning, 12 to 2 a.m. My show is Visions in Sound. I am on 98.5 CKWR in Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. You can also find me on my website, visionsinsound.ca. I am on the Twitter, @VisionsSound. I can also be found on the Good Pods, a downloadable app for your phone or other type devices. And I can also be found on many of the other podcatchers out there, including the likes of Apple Music. So yeah, week 16 now comes to a close. Moving on to week 17, though there might be some little extra bonuses in there. We'll see. In any case, have yourself a great week. We'll see you in a little bit. Bye for now.
I realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse of which I had only a fleeting glimpse. I've tried to speculate where it might have landed. I must admit, however, such conjecture is futile. Still, questions about whose hands might one day hold my MYST book are unsettling to me. I know my apprehensions might never be allayed. And so I close, realizing that perhaps the ending has not yet been written.